right, let's get into practice. Thanks for coming to your yoga mat this morning. We're going to start in child's pose. So as you find your mat, knees a little bit apart, big toes together, fold your torso and reach your arms out in front. Right from the start, stay with a bit of power in this pose. Keep your head lifted just a bit off of the yoga mat. Stay on fingertips rather than on your palms. And really reach and stretch here. And as you press the fingertips down, push them also a little bit forward, which should make your body just slightly pull backwards. Hips a little closer to your heels with each new breath. Stay here, take in the breath, let it release. And then change, come up to all fours. Place the hands under the shoulders, knees underneath our hips. Cat and cow, move the spine back and forth. So for the month of January, the yoga hour classes and this 45-minute all levels class will very specifically look at the yoga hour sequence that I've created. And if you want a printout of that, just look at the sort of on-demand classes in the hub. And underneath those classes, it's hyperlinked to my PDF there. Okay, so cat and cow. Just back and forth, let the spine open, kind of awaken the body, give good signals of readiness. And then we'll change to downward facing dog. Tuck the toes and lift the hips up and back. So get a good look at each leg individually, down the back of the leg, pedal out the feet. Take your time with it, shake the head a little, yes and no. And then do find a more still position in this dog. Deep, full breath in, complete exhale out. Come forward to plank pose, top of our push-up. Here in the push-up, squeeze the heels, the glutes in, lengthen the tailbone, tone the belly, and look just slightly forward of your hands, which is going to keep our head lifted, our neck in a good place. Nothing fancy, top of the plank. You can be on toes or knees each and every time we find plank pose. And then lie flat down against the mat. Reach the hands back behind you. Turn the palms to face the sky and lift everything up. Lift, lift, lift. Arms and legs can be wider to start. And then each time we find this belly bound back bend, start to squeeze more in towards the midline to find that power to lift just a little more. Lower it down, press back to child's pose. This time in child's pose, take the hands and interlace behind your back. You might be a little bit lifted here in this child's pose to give you the room to try to take the arms up towards the sky. Keep rounding the back like we did in cow pose and try to send the head not to the ground, but to your knees or thighs. You're staying just a little lifted. Come all the way upright. Release the hands And go back to downward facing dog. Step the right foot in between the hands for low lunge. And then into down dog lunge. Spin the back heel down and walk the hands to the inside and then out to the side a bit. Down dog lunge, the further we walk our hands towards the long edge, towards the left right now of our yoga mat, might get a little easier to find some space. Keep challenging yourself to walk the hands, though, more towards the corner front of the mat. Work both the space and the depth in the hip here. Open things up. And then crawl it back around to your regular low lunge, hands on either side of the front foot. Lift the right hand up in revolved lunge. Exhale, lower the hand down. Step back, down dog. And let's give it a go on the second side. Step the left foot forward, move the hands to the inside as you spin the back heel down. Again, walk the hands out, and they can walk more towards the right, more towards the center, long edge of the mat. And then start to walk the hands more towards the front right corner. As you do that, broaden the left knee away from the shoulder. Keep pushing some weight into the back leg so it doesn't all fall into the front. Time and breath here. And then walk the hands back in. Low lunge, square off the hips. And take the left hand high, just a breath there. Nice. Lower the hands, step back, this time to plank pose. Here in plank, push up. Lower down, come right back up, and then down dog. We'll do that 2 more times. Come through plank. You can go at your own pace here. Do a push-up, down dog. Push-ups available toes or knees, or take them out completely. 3 times total this morning. And then again, step the right foot forward to your low lunge. Bring the hands to the front thigh, and now full twist. So left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Make your back leg engaged. Strengthen the muscle to the bone. Lift the hips a little higher rather than lower so that you offer yourself some space to get into the twist. And then untwist, lower the hands down, step back to plank, lower flat to the belly, interlace the hands behind your back. Again, feet can start wider, and then as you lift up, start to squeeze the heels closer in. Shalabhasana, this locust pose, hands bound. And then lower it all the way down. Up and back to down dog. Step the left foot through to your low lunge. Come upright. And take the right elbow across the left thigh. Close it off completely or stay higher. One more breath like this. Looking good here. Unwind. Set the hands down. Step back to plank. One more belly down back bend. Come all the way through. This time, hands behind your head. This one always gets me. The elbows can be out to the side or more forward. If we take the elbows more forward, it's a little bit more doable. Try it. Lift as high as you can. Everything off of the mat. Squeeze towards the midline. As you get more comfortable in the shoulders, point the elbows more out to the side. And then exhale, we'll lower down. Push back to child's pose. Take just a beat there. And then come on up to all fours. In all fours, lift the right leg up and back in line with the spine. Flex the foot and turn the toes down towards the mat. That's just a really nice indicator our hips are square. Everything is faced to the mat. Extend the left arm out in front, so opposite arm and leg. This comes into play a little bit later with upward bow pose. In upward bow, we have same arm and leg. Let's try it here. So lower the left hand and lift the right hand up. With the right hand up, can you open the hips to the long side of the mat and then close it back down. Lower the right hand, lower the right leg. Same thing, second side, lift the left leg up. Again, flex and point the toes down to the floor. And then extend the opposite arm out in front, a little easier on the balance there usually. So when I set the right hand down, I keep it a little bit forward, a little more off to the side so that I can work in the balance, left arm, left leg up. Same arm and leg. And then kick the right foot a little bit back behind you as you open everything up to the side. Looks more like half moon pose there. And then try to square it back down without losing the balance. And lower hand, lower knee. Downward dog, lift the hips. Look forward to your hands. Step all the way to the front end of the mat. Come up halfway. Hands can go to the thighs to create the most space and length to do that. And then forward fold. Okay, stand up. Reach the arms up to the sky and stay here. Lift the arms up, up, up. Bring the feet pretty close together like your mountain pose. Squeeze in your glutes. Press down through your feet. And through the back side of the body, think of breathing backwards and up. Interlace all 10 fingers. Send your thumb and first finger more to the sky. Take crescent pose here. Lean the arms to the right and push your hips to the left. And then come back to the middle and we'll add a lunge to that. So right foot stays forward, but step your left foot back to the lunge. And then again, add the crescent. Lean again to the right. Just 2 different ways to get into that same set of muscle groups. Good stretch through the side of the torso. If you lean a little bit forward here in the torso, you can bring the stretch more into the left part of the spine, left part of the back. And then come back into the center and step the left foot up. Great challenge for the arms here. Keep them lifted. And then go into the crescent shape on the second side. Lean to the left. Push your hips to the right. And inhale, come back to center. Left foot stays forward now. Step the right foot back. If your arms are fatiguing, say just a couple more breaths. We've got this. Squeeze the upper arm bones in and then take the crescent shape again. Lean to the left. Try to push down through your front big toe to help keep you balanced. Lean a little bit forward to get that stretch into the QL muscles, the quadratus lumborum on that right side of the spine now. And then we'll come back into the middle, step both feet to the front of the mat. Arms straight out in front of you, bend the knees, sit into your thighs. Chair pose, Utkatasana with belly down, arms parallel to the ground. You've got this. Stay with it. Squeeze inner thighs towards each other, even if you let the knees come a little bit apart. And lower the hands, straighten the legs, forward fold. Make the legs only as straight as they'll go, keeping all 10 fingers on the ground. Give yourself the ability to really let out the breath here. Shake the head a little bit. I failed to say at the beginning of class, but anytime you want to bring the floor a little closer to you and you have a yoga block, something similar, you can use it throughout practice. We might get into that in this next standing series. So right foot stays forward. Step your left foot back into your low lunge. Spin the back heel down. Look down. Line up heel to heel. Push through the outer edge of your left foot so it's flat and solid on the ground. And then come upright, warrior two. Extend the arms in either direction. Good. Shoulders, as always, stacked right over the line of our hips. And can you go just an inch or two deeper into that front thigh? Broaden the knee out towards the pinky toe side of the foot. Good. Keeping all of this. Straighten your right leg. Keeping the foundation in the feet, I should say. Extend as far as you can to the right and take triangle pose. Down to the floor, or maybe holding onto your leg or a block. 2 straight arms, 2 straight legs. And then take the top hand to your waist. Look down and bend the right knee as deeply as you can. Bring the right elbow back up to the knee. Side angle pose. Look again to the side or even up towards the sky. Notice those changes in direction of where we look help to open up the body in different ways as well. And stretch the left arm palm down overhead for extended side angle or Parsvata Konasana. Bring the left hand again back to the waist. For a moment, can you take your right hand and hold on to your shoulder? And it's like little crunches for the torso. Think right shoulder down to the knee, and then halfway up, down to the knee, halfway up, down to the knee, halfway up. Can you stay down at the knee? Really turn into the belly. Look down at the ground, hands on either side of the front foot, low lunge. Step back to plank pose. Add a push-up in the middle if you'd like, and then downward facing dog. Similar series, second side. Step the left foot forward now to your long, low lunge. Spin the back heel down, come up to warrior two. So energy of the body nice and open, wide to the side of your mat. Once you're good there, so I'm trying to stay with this longer stance in triangle pose today. Straighten the left leg, hinge from your hips, reach as far as you can to the left, and then left arm down to the leg, block if you brought it along, or the floor, right arm up to the sky for triangle pose, 2 straight arms, 2 straight legs. Try looking up. Just by looking up, giving that back, top hip, a little bit more rotation open. And then change your focus, look down, bend the left knee, bring the elbow up to the knee and stretch the top arm palm down all the way overhead. Okay, let's take the right hand to the hip, left hand to hold the right shoulder. And again, we're trying these little sideways crunches. Don't go all the way up in the torso, just about halfway in between. This will help us as we move into bound angle in a few moments. Get that sense of where we need to lower into the left shoulder and side of the belly. Look down, unwind, low lunge, step back, plank pose, add in the push-up, downward facing dog, hips up and back. Couple good breaths, full stretch here. From down dog, walk your hands to the back end of your yoga mat. And place the hands to your hips. Point the elbows up to the sky, push down into your feet, and come all the way up to standing. Okay, a little bit of balance here. Lift the arms up to the sky. Chair pose, bend the knees, sit into your thighs. Eagle pose, wrap the right leg on top of the left leg. The foot can hang out or close into your leg. And then arms, right elbow under the left elbow. First stage, hold your shoulders. Second, back of the hands. Third, wrap to hold your palms. Try to be upright in the torso. Point your knees more forward and down. Shoulders, head more back. Unwrap the leg. Unwrap your arms. Lift up. Nice. Chair pose. Second side. Bend the knees. Sit into the thighs. Wrap the left leg on top of the right. Foot stays out to the side for a little more ease and counterbalance, or wrap it behind your calf. And then left elbow under the right. To make this more doable, try leaning more forward, more compact. More challenge is that upright position in the torso. Point the knees forward and down. Tone, tone, tone in the belly. I'm laughing as I'm falling out. Unwrap the legs, unwrap the arms, lift arms all the way up to the sky, and kick your right heel towards your butt. Take your right hand and hold on to the foot. Here in flamingo pose, nice quad stretch. Think of pushing your hips a little bit forward as you pull the foot a little bit back. You can stay completely upright there, or take it more of a hinge in the upper body. To dancer pose, lift the right leg higher, higher, higher as you go. Stand on 2 feet. Lift the arms back up to the sky. Kick the left heel to the seat. Left hand, I'm holding on outside of the foot today. I find that easier. And squeeze the knees in and down. And then just a little push of hips forward to get the leg to move back. You should feel that more in the length of the hip flexor, front of the thigh. Take a hinge for dancer pose, Natarajasana. Maybe try a little bend in the right knee to take some of that strain out of the hamstrings or low back. And stand back up. 2 solid feet to the ground. Let's travel to the front end of the yoga mat. Nice and easy, reach up towards the sky. And exhale, forward fold. Always need just a few breaths, really ground in there after the 2 big balance poses. And then we move to bound angle. So it needs to start with side angle. Right foot forward, step the left foot back. So we've already done most of the pose. Spin the back heel down, elbow to knee. Keep the left hand at the waist. Okay, so if we take the right hand back to the shoulder, those crunches that we did before, but stay as low as you can. And this is a really good guide. Like if you can get your shoulder all the way down to the knee and match the side of your torso as if it's your thigh, then your arms are gonna have the room. Right hand goes to the front, under your thigh to spin up towards the hip. And then top hand behind your back to try to find your hand. Here's the thing, if you don't find your hands, maybe you can hold on to your pants, your shirt. Maybe it's air and space in between. I'm going to show you that my hands actually don't touch here, but I try to reach the arms a little straighter, more towards the pelvis. Sometimes the fingertips do touch, and then extend the head more towards the knee rather than falling down towards your mat. So it's backwards towards the right knee. If the hands are interlaced, let them go. Set down, hands to the inside of your foot. You're right there, ready for forearm lunge. Today we'll lower the left knee and come down towards the forearms. Block height can be a nice in-between. Give yourself a few steady breaths, nowhere else to go right now. And then walk it back up to the hands. Left knee off of the ground so that you can step forward, both feet to the front of the mat. That right leg feeling heavy, then we've done our job. Lift all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. Take a few beats, a few breaths. And then we'll give it a go on the second side. Left foot stays forward, step your right foot back. Side angle pose first. Spin the back heel down. Elbow to knee, right hand stays on your waist. Good. And then take the hand to the opposite shoulder. Tone more firmly in the belly and think shoulder down to the thigh, down to the knee. Sometimes dropping your hips down a little further can help get the upper torso there as well. Okay, left hand to the front of the thigh and then underneath. Right hand, slip it behind your back. And you're holding on to a shirt, pants, air, or hands. Again, so that I don't get locked in my hamstrings, I often take the hands apart, make them straight, and there's just a little space right underneath the pelvis. That's where I go. Work what works for you. And then unbind, take the hands to the inside, lower the right knee. Stay up on the hands or go further down to the forearms. Steady the breath, forearm lunge. Walk it back up to the hands. This time, let's take it backwards to downward facing dog. Step the left foot all the way back, down dog. Here's one more big balance combination for you. Start with the right leg up into the air, three-legged dog. Step it all the way forward to your lunge. Half moon pose. Balance on your right hand, right foot. So bring your weight forward enough to make that happen, and then lift the left leg into the air. If the left hand stays on the hip, you can really see the direction as the hip opens to the side, body opens to the side, and eventually take the left hand high. As if you're coming into warrior three, bring the left hand back to your waist. Bend the right knee until the front of that left hip can point down to the floor. So square off the pelvis. And then you still get to keep one hand down, but it's the opposite hand. Take the left hand down and lift the right hand up to the waist or all the way to the sky. So twisted half moon pose. And that left leg likes to lower. I know it does. It can even tap against the ground and still get you into the shape of the pose. Try to keep it up as much as works. Now, warrior three, both hands come back to the waist. Give yourself time, effort, and stand all the way up. Can you pull the left knee into your chest? Balance checks along the way as much as we want them. Use the hands to pull the left knee a little bit higher as well. Push down into your right big toe a lot and keep standing tall. No straight front leg today. We're taking the twist instead. Take the right hand to the outside of the left thigh and then twist in the upper body. The torso moves and looks to the side. Take the left hand back behind you. Reach, reach, reach. Okay, stand on two legs. Again, we've worn out that right leg. Let's balance it out. Lift both arms up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Step it all the way back, downward facing dog. And then from here, we take left foot high, left leg high, three-legged dog. You can work on the really squaring off in the hips here and kind of see how the twisted half moon pose already starts to come in. Now step forward to the low lunge. Before we do twisted half moon, good old regular half moon, step the right foot in until you can move all your balance and weight onto left hand, left foot. And lift right hand, right leg. Can you square off the hips and switch hands? Maybe a moment where both hands are on the ground there to give you your balance and stability. And then switch left hand out to the side, tone and turn in the torso. Nice work, yogis. Stand all the way up. Can you stand up, keeping the right leg lifted? Kind of flowing a little bit through warrior three there, and then drag the right knee all the way up and into your chest. Now that left leg is getting heavy. Push down through your big toe to keep the foot from cramping. Take the left hand, cross over to the outside of the right thigh. Reach the right hand back behind you. This meant to challenge us, meant to make us fall off balance some, and then return to center, 2 feet on the ground. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Step back, downward facing dog. We are off of the big standing balance forms. Taking it a little lower to the mat here, come down to all fours. Nice, easy, twisted child's pose. Take the right arm under the left, shoulder, ear, side of the face to the ground. Reach the left arm out in front or up to the sky. If that bound lunge and work was good for you, you can try similar here by tucking the left arm behind the back towards the right hip. And then bring the left hand back beside your face. Use it to help you. Come all the way upright. Take a breath there first. And then second side, left arm goes underneath the right. Set shoulder ear, side of the face down. Try to square off the hip. So it's this little action of pulling right hip back somewhat to keep the weight more even. And then right hip, right hand up or even back behind the left hip. Take the right hand back up to the sky beside your face. Use it to help you up to all fours. Again, just a steady breath in all fours. Change that to plank pose. Walk the toes back, knees off of the ground. Straight arms. For just a moment, lean the shoulders more forward than the wrist. And then kick back into your heels. Notice how this changes. Weight in the body. Strengthen the abdomen. Do it a couple more times. Balance way forward on the toes. And then push back in the heels. It's going to challenge that angle of the wrist and its flexion. And then child's pose. Take the knees down. And sit the hips back. Rest the arms a moment, maybe a little bit of movement through the wrists, whatever feels nice to you, just take it in here. Got one big ask left of us. Cool down stretch right into Shavasana. 45 minutes flies by in the morning. So here we are, arm pressure pose, last big pose of our morning practice. Go to downward facing dog. Take your arms, your hands more narrow in the inside of the mat. And then step the right foot forward to the outside of the right foot. Step the left foot forward to the outside of the left hand. From here, we're making one line, toes, fingers, all the way across to the other foot and toes. Try to sit low into your thighs. This is stage 1, arm pressure pose. Stage 2, walk your hands further back. So now your fingertips are maybe in line or even a little bit behind the line of your heels. You've gone into that deeper flexion of the wrist. In this deeper flexion of the wrist, it's likely off of the ground. The palms are off of the ground. But to get the palms back on, we sit on our upper arm bones. So you're using your arms as a shelf for your legs. Try to take the feet off of the floor. Cross at the ankles. It is certainly a deeper stretch in the wrist and forearms. If you grip in your fingers, it won't be too much for healthy hands and shoulders. And then feet come back down and step it all the way back to downward facing dog. Walk your feet back. Get on out of that stretch. Lower the knees down, cross at the ankles so that you can sit back and trade your feet out in front of you. Lift the arms up to the sky. Make an L shape in your body. Hips, shoulders, ears right on top of each other as much as possible. And forward fold. Reach, reach, reach forward and eventually down. Hold on to the mat, your legs, your feet. Spin the elbows out to the side to keep lengthening the spine, sort of using the power of the arms to pull you longer. Like a long rainbow, you can tuck the head and chin, a little rounding through the spine there. Eventually tuck the elbows back down towards the mat. And try to back off your effort a little bit, reminding ourselves that this is headed towards Shavasana now. Rise back up in your torso. Bend the knees, scoot your butt forward so you have room to lie back. Pull your knees into your chest. Nice strong hug. A little rock from side to side. I should say this more than I do. I always give a pretty short Shavasana. You could head there sooner and take a longer Shavasana. And of course, lovely being at home that you can simply say end now and stay in Shavasana longer. Stretch your legs out, stretch your arms out, and find that still position for you. Just 90 seconds. But don't skip it. Let yourself feel this, the importance of this pose, as much as any other, more than any other perhaps. And slowly come back up to a seated position. No rush. As you find the seat, close palms together, thumbs to your sternum. Allow yourself to stay drawn inward. Full gratitude to the movement, the health of this practice and for you. And I like to close with the sound of Om. You can sing along with me. You're always invited to listen or to tune it out as well. Singing Om, a wonderful way to transition from gratitude of one space into the next. So empty out the breath. Take a deep breath in. Again, in full gratitude to the light within you, each of us, and in this practice. Namaste. All right, so good to